Start a video. Have you ever felt utterly lost, adrift in a sea of anxieties and uncertainties? Like a puppet dancing on invisible strings, your life seemingly dictated by external forces, a constant battle against an internal chorus of doubts and fears. We all know that feeling. It's the gnawing sensation that something is missing, a deep-seated longing for something more, something beyond the mundane routines and societal expectations that often define our existence. This feeling isn't merely dissatisfaction. It's a whisper from within, a call to awaken, to shed the layers of conditioning that have obscured our true nature. It's the beginning of a journey, a pilgrimage towards self-discovery, a quest to transcend the limitations of the ego and embrace the vastness of consciousness. For centuries, spiritual seekers across cultures and traditions have grappled with this profound question. Who are we truly, and how can we break free from the shackles of our perceived self? The ego that often dictates our thoughts, emotions, and actions. The ego, though essential for navigating the physical world, can become a cage, trapping us in a cycle of fear, insecurity, and endless striving. It craves validation, comparison, and control, constantly seeking external affirmation to feel complete. This yearning leads to a constant state of dissatisfaction, a never-ending pursuit of happiness that often proves elusive. This problem runs deeper than fleeting emotions or temporary unhappiness. The ego's grip on our consciousness creates an illusion of separation, leading us to believe we are isolated individuals disconnected from the interconnected web of life. We become prisoners of our own thoughts and desires, consumed by a relentless pursuit of personal gain and external validation. This inherent sense of division breeds suffering. It fuels conflict, jealousy, and resentment, creating a constant state of unease within ourselves and in our relationships with others. The world mirrors back this fragmented reality, reflecting the disharmony that stems from our own internal chaos. However, there is another path, a path less traveled, a journey towards awakening and transcendence. This journey isn't about abandoning the ego entirely, but rather learning to see through its illusions, recognizing its limitations, and ultimately surrendering to a greater sense of unity and interconnectedness. Building on this understanding, imagine a world where individuals are no longer driven by fear and insecurity, but by compassion, empathy, and a deep sense of purpose. A world where the pursuit of external validation gives way to a genuine connection with oneself and the universe around us. This isn't a utopian dream. It's a potential that lies dormant within each of us, waiting to be awakened through conscious effort and self-exploration. Building on this understanding of the ego's role in our perception, let's delve into the psychology behind why we feel the way we do. Why are we so driven by fear and insecurity? Why is external validation so alluring? To answer these questions, we turn to the pioneering work of psychologists like Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud. Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist, proposed the concept of the shadow self. He believed that each individual possesses a hidden aspect, a collection of repressed desires, fears, and impulses that we often deny or try to suppress. This shadow self can manifest in unhealthy ways, leading to aggression, anxiety, and self-sabotage. Jung argued that confronting our shadow self is crucial for personal growth, allowing us to integrate these aspects into our conscious awareness and achieve a more balanced sense of self. Freud, on the other hand, focused on the unconscious mind's influence on our behavior. He believed that childhood experiences, particularly unresolved conflicts, could shape our adult personality and drive our actions. According to Freud, our ego, the part of the psyche responsible for rational decision-making, is constantly at odds with the ID, the primal, instinctual part of ourselves driven by pleasure-seeking. The superego, our moral compass, attempts to mediate between these two forces, but often struggles to keep them in check. This internal conflict can lead to feelings of anxiety, guilt, and a constant need for external validation to soothe these internal tensions. Building on Freud's theories, we can see how the ego becomes deeply invested in maintaining a sense of security and control. It seeks out external validation because it fears vulnerability, rejection, and the loss of its perceived identity. This pursuit of approval can become a relentless cycle, leading to a constant comparison with others, a fear of failure, and an inability to truly embrace our authentic selves. However, this yearning for security and control often comes at a great cost. It can lead to a disconnect from ourselves and the world around us. We become consumed by our own anxieties and desires, losing sight of the interconnectedness that binds all beings. This sense of isolation fuels the ego's need for further validation, creating a vicious cycle that perpetuates our suffering. This leads us to a crucial question: how can we break free from this cycle? How can we transcend these ego-driven limitations and tap into a deeper sense of purpose and connection? Now, this yearning for security and control often comes at a great cost. It can lead to a disconnect from ourselves and the world around us. We become consumed by our own anxieties and desires, losing sight of the interconnectedness that binds all beings. This sense of isolation fuels the ego's need for further validation, creating a vicious cycle that perpetuates our suffering. Building on this, imagine what ancient philosophers like Seneca or Nietzsche might say about this struggle. Seneca, known for his stoic wisdom, would likely remind us that true happiness lies not in external validation, but in cultivating inner peace and acceptance. He'd emphasize the importance of recognizing our own mortality and focusing on living virtuously, rather than chasing fleeting desires that ultimately lead to dissatisfaction. He'd urge us to detach from the opinions of others, recognizing that their judgments are often fueled by their own insecurities and limitations. Imagine him saying, "The greatest enemy of happiness is not external adversity, but our own attachment to fleeting pleasures and the need for constant approval." True freedom lies in accepting what we cannot control and focusing on cultivating inner strength and resilience. Nietzsche, with his radical perspective, might delve deeper into the nature of the ego itself, viewing it as a necessary illusion that allows us to navigate the world, but ultimately hindering our potential for true self-expression. He'd likely argue that the pursuit of happiness through external validation is a form of slave morality, a fear-driven response that keeps us trapped in a cycle of dependence and limitation. He might say, the ego is a cage built by our fears and societal conditioning. To transcend these limitations, we must embrace the chaos, the uncertainty, and dare to live authentically, even if it means defying conventional norms and embracing the unknown. This shift in perspective, from seeking external validation to cultivating inner peace and authenticity, is crucial for spiritual awakening. It requires a conscious decision to detach from the ego's need for control and approval, allowing ourselves to be open to new experiences and perspectives. However, this isn't simply about rejecting the ego. It's about understanding its role and ultimately integrating it into a larger sense of self. The ego, with its desires and ambitions, can serve as a valuable tool for growth and creativity when channeled constructively. It's about finding a balance, acknowledging the ego's existence while recognizing that true fulfillment lies beyond its limitations. This leads us to the core question: How do we navigate this delicate transition? How do we break free from the ego's grip and cultivate a deeper sense of connection with ourselves and the world around us? Now, this leads us to the core question. How do we navigate this delicate transition? How do we break free from the ego's grip and cultivate a deeper sense of connection with ourselves and the world around us? The path isn't always easy. It requires conscious effort and consistent practice, but the rewards are immeasurable: a life filled with greater joy, purpose, and meaning. Building on this understanding, let's explore some actionable steps you can integrate into your daily life to begin this journey of transcending ego boundaries. Firstly, cultivate self-awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations without judgment. Notice the patterns in your behavior, your reactions to situations, and the stories you tell yourself. This introspective practice helps you identify where the ego is influencing your actions and perceptions. Journaling can be a powerful tool for this. Write down your thoughts and feelings throughout the day, observing them as if they were passing clouds. Don't get caught up in identifying with them. Simply observe their nature. Secondly, embrace mindfulness. This involves bringing your full attention to the present moment, without dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Engage your senses. Fully notice the taste of your food, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the sound of birds chirping. When you find your mind wandering, gently guide it back to the present. Mindfulness meditation is a great practice for cultivating this awareness. Even 5 minutes a day can make a significant difference. However, self-awareness and mindfulness are only the first steps. True transcendence requires a shift in perspective. Start by questioning the stories you tell yourself about who you are and what defines your worth. Are these narratives based on external validation or internal truths? Challenge limiting beliefs that keep you confined within the ego's boundaries. Remember, your identity is not solely defined by your achievements, possessions, or social status. Embrace your inherent worthiness simply because you exist. This leads us to another crucial aspect: cultivating compassion. Practice empathy towards yourself and others. Recognize that everyone is on their own unique journey, facing their own challenges. Offer kindness and understanding, even when faced with difficult situations. Forgiveness, both of yourself and others, is essential for breaking free from the ego's grip. Holding on to resentment only perpetuates a cycle of suffering. Actionable steps can be as simple as consciously choosing to respond with empathy, instead of reacting out of anger or frustration. Practice gratitude regularly. Appreciate the small things in life: a warm cup of tea, a beautiful sunset, the laughter of a loved one. These moments of joy and contentment can help shift your focus away from ego-driven desires. Ultimately, the path to transcending ego boundaries is a lifelong journey of self-discovery and growth. It's about embracing vulnerability, cultivating inner peace, and connecting with something larger than yourself. Remember, this isn't about erasing the ego completely, but rather integrating it into a more expansive sense of being. Start small, be patient with yourself, and trust the process. The rewards are profound: a life lived with greater authenticity, purpose, and connection to the world around you. Now, this journey inward isn't always easy. There will be times when the ego, with its ingrained patterns and desires, tries to pull you back into familiar, albeit constricting, territories. Doubt may creep in, whispering insidious tales of inadequacy or self-deprecation. Fear might loom large, paralyzing your willingness to step outside the perceived safety of your comfort zone. But remember, these are simply illusions, projections of the ego attempting to maintain its control. Building on this, understand that the path is less about forceful suppression and more about gentle redirection. Imagine a river flowing towards an obstacle. Instead of trying to dam or redirect it with brute force, you create a channel around the obstruction, allowing the water to find a new course, one that ultimately leads to a wider, more nourishing destination. This is the essence of spiritual awakening, guiding your energy, your consciousness, away from ego-driven pursuits and towards a deeper understanding of your true nature. This doesn't mean abandoning your goals or aspirations. It means aligning them with something greater than yourself. It's about recognizing that your purpose extends beyond individual gratification and embraces the interconnectedness of all things. However, this shift in perspective doesn't happen overnight. It requires consistent effort, unwavering self-compassion, and a willingness to surrender to the unfolding of life. Cultivate practices that nourish your soul: meditation, mindfulness, yoga, spending time in nature. These acts serve as anchors, grounding you in the present moment and helping you cultivate a sense of peace amidst the constant churn of thoughts and emotions. This leads us to the profound truth. Awakening is not merely an intellectual exercise or a philosophical pursuit. It's a lived experience, a tapestry woven from moments of awareness, compassion, and interconnectedness. It's about finding joy in the simple act of breathing, gratitude for the warmth of the sun on your skin, and love that transcends boundaries. Imagine a world where individuals operate not from a place of self-interest, but from a deep sense of shared humanity, where decisions are guided by compassion, understanding, and a commitment to collective well-being. This isn't a utopian dream. It's the potential that lies within each of us, waiting to be unlocked through spiritual awakening. We are all interconnected, part of a vast and intricate web of life. Our actions ripple outward, affecting not only ourselves but also those around us. When we choose to transcend ego boundaries, to act with kindness and generosity, we contribute to the creation of a more harmonious world. This is the call to greatness, to embrace our inherent divinity and become beacons of light in an often turbulent world. The journey may be challenging, but the rewards are immeasurable. As you shed the limitations of ego and step into your true potential, you'll discover a sense of purpose, fulfillment, and connection that transcends anything the material world can offer. Remember, you are not just an individual. You are a spark of the divine, capable of illuminating the darkness and inspiring others to embark on their own journey of awakening. The time is now to rise above the limitations of the ego, embrace your true nature, and contribute to the creation of a world where love, compassion, and unity prevail.